Hey, it's Andrew Priestley. Welcome to Multiply Your Money. It's a wild Friday night. Boy, oh boy, it's windy down here. My daughter rang me and she said, "Has it been windy down your end of the world?" And I said, "No, it's not. It's really, really nice. But guess what? I think the wind has just arrived." But anyway, I'm talking about the money chimp. You know, spend less, save more, get out of debt faster. And in episodes 15 and 16, I was talking about... Actually, I've got to go right back to the top 3 money managing tips, and they were spend less than you earn, plan for the future, and make your money make more money. And I've been talking the last 2 episodes about plan for the future. And so we did a couple of sessions back. If you want to go check those ones out, go back and have a look at them. But we did stuff on Hey Leslie. We did stuff on plan for the future. That's what we were talking about. And I was talking about creating buffer, and I was talking about creating personal buffer. And then our good friend Jason Greystone, he chipped in with about how companies create buffer. And buffer is a financial cushion, and the principle that I was talking to you about was having at least 3 months of overheads in cash reserves in your bank, right? And ideally 12 months, right? So on the strength of that, what we did was, because they were 2 good little videos and people were emailing me, how do we do it? So the first thing that I created, and this is just for the people who join the Multiply Your Money group, right? So for those people, I created a document called the Spend Calculator, which is full of really great stuff on how to create personal buffer. And then Jason flipped across a document and we put it up into a nice little folder like that. And it's called How to Create Cash Buffer. And Jason was giving guidelines that companies use, right? So he was telling us about how companies do that. And then in the last one, I gave you 4 key principles, because those are good ideas, but what I'm interested in, will you implement them or not? So this one's coming up next. It's the 4 key focus ideas. There's David. Hey, David. So that document will be up in the group quite soon. Now, I hate to say this, but these goodies are only available inside. They're only available inside that Multiply Your Money group. So you need to race over there right now and you need to join. And it's actually on LinkedIn and it's on Facebook. But planning for the future. Well, why the hell would you plan for the future? You know, you want to think about that. Why should I plan for the future? Right? Because the future's coming. It's coming, right? And I know this. I know that the future's coming. I know that someone's planning for the future. But the amazing thing is that the past also is a pretty good indication of what the future will look like. And I know this because when I went on to the National Bureau of Statistics, right, I can see that they are anticipating future trends for what their needs are. So if you live in London, for example, you know that they're spending an absolute fortune on things like Crossrail and upgrading the underground system for the next 50 years, right? We know that. But basically the Bureau of Statistics, and I'm reading from the book The Money Chimp, it looks at different big times in your life, and no worries, Leslie, talk to you a bit later. It looks at big times in your life that are just obvious ones, such as your childhood and teens. So they know that when you're a child, you've got to go to school. You're going to have bikes and prams and uniforms and school fees. Okay, and then when you get to adolescence and to early adult, we know that you're going to have secondary school and then tertiary school and then maybe training fees. You're going to go on with that one, right? And they know that most early 20-year-olds take a gap year and then they start looking for the right job. And they know that emotionally and biologically you're looking for the right partner. Hey, Olga, you're looking for the right partner by your late 20s, early 30s. And they then know from statistics that people are getting married older now. So it used to be when I got married in my very early 20s, but now it's late 20s, early 30s that people are actually getting married and starting to have families. They know that, right? Bureau of Statistics, really fascinating website to get onto. They also know that you're probably, if you've gone down the tertiary route, you're probably carrying a debt. You're carrying a university loan, right? they know that as you get to adulthood and you get married, that you're going to start thinking about getting your own home. You're starting having children of your own. So we know that mortgages kick in a lot more. They know how much the UK spends on mortgages and what's the average age group. They know all that sort of stuff, right? They know that as your kids grow up and get older, that you're going to have more disposable income by the time you hit your mid-40s. And they know that you're pre-retirement now by about 55, but they're trying to push out the retirement age to 70. So they know all this data. They know it all, right? Incidentally, just on the idea, like plan for the future, well, we know in most cases, statistically, we're living longer, and we know that you probably will get to your 60s and 70s, right? But, that awful question, the awful question is, have you got enough to support you in your retirement? Well, the way the governments are going, they're asking you to do it. Look at what's happening with the HMRC in the UK and also Australia and America. They're now making it compulsory that you contribute to pension funds, right? Because social securities and state benefits may not exist going into the future. They want you to be self-funded retirements. Okay. Incidentally, I'm not giving you advice here. I'm just telling you the big trends. Okay. The great thing about this, you can read all about the different trends that are coming up in that book. But the thing is, the future is actually more predictable than you think. Right? It's actually a lot more predictable than you think. You can actually anticipate those big changes, such as childhood, adolescence, early adulthood, getting married, getting a mortgage, having children of your own, sending them to school, getting to a point where your children empty nesting, leave home, pre-retirement, retirement, senior ages, then old age. We know these stages. So planning for your future, and I talked about planning being short-term, medium, and long-term. Okay. Now, creating buffer is a short-term strategy because it's looking after the next 12 months. Getting a financial cushion over the next 12 months is in there. Okay. Now here's the thing. You know the information, right? That doesn't mean you'll do anything with the information, because we know that. We know Bureau of Statistics says that not enough people plan for their future. We know that. They're worried about it. Okay. So this program here is, why should you plan for your future? A big question I'm asking you is to plan for your future. It's getting windy here, right? And so on the last video that I gave you 4 key ideas to focus on, key focus strategies to focus on, right? And they were maturity, decisiveness, consistency, and strength. So managing your money is grown-ups' work. And these are the things that help you make it work, right? Maturity. You come from a place of maturity. You're more decisive about what you're going to do. You already know what you need to do. Just decide, right? But if you're not coming from a place of maturity, you're probably coming from a place of childishness, which has this logics about it. Someone should look after me. This shouldn't be happening to me. Those sort of logics, right? That's not mature. That's not grown up. That's childish, right? Decisiveness. Consistency is making decisions about, this is how I'm going to handle even basic little things like, do I buy coffee or not? Do I just rush out and just spend money on whatever I like? Is that mature? Is it decisive? Is it consistent? And the strength is that it's built on this platform of strength. I'm coming from a position of strength. Okay? That's what we're trying to get across here. I'm trying to get, even if I don't do these videos, if you never watch one, if you read this book, incidentally, the book was back in the top 20 money books in the UK today, right? Why? Because this is a favourite book of millennials. They just love it because it works. And I know that. I know what I'm talking about in this book works because I get so much feedback from people, emails saying, this changed my life. Now, what changed exactly was that they grew up a little. They started to take a more mature approach to their money. They became more decisive. They got a lot more consistent in their actions. And they built that on a position of strength. Okay? Hey, it's the weekend tomorrow. Relax. Apparently it's National Lazy Day tomorrow, so if you're that lazy, you could probably put it off till Sunday. I got to go. Have a great weekend. Talk to you soon. Oh, before I go, make sure you join you join, go jump straight across to Facebook. Do it now. Right? Toss me some hearts if you're liking what you're hearing, by the way. I love Facebook for this reason. But make sure that you join Multiply Your Money. It's on LinkedIn and it's on Facebook. You can also pick up the podcast, which is on Spotify. Just search Multiply Your Money. Make sure you get the treats and goodies that are in both those groups. Right? Buy the book if you need to. And if you go on the YouTube versions of this, make sure you subscribe. Okay? Because that pushes the message out to a lot more people. Okay? And heaven knows a lot of people need to manage their money, especially young professionals right now. They really need to get their head around this managing money business, okay? And then you can multiply. But spend less, save more, get out of debt faster. Have a great weekend.